All right, so today is a very big day. I have another property to go look at, another lifestyle asset. For those of you who are new to the channel, I teach about a concept that we created a few short years ago called lifestyle assets, which is a much more preferred way of going about living your life and getting the lifestyle you want, living life on your terms. But also when you purchase something, instead of buying toys that become liabilities, you buy toys that you also can make a lot of money from. So it's the best of all worlds in my opinion. And again, pretty popular because of that. So this video is not sponsored. I wanna make that clear, but I do have some resources I'm gonna be giving away throughout the video, so make sure you stick around. Also want to give you an update on how things are going. There's so much to learn as we get into some of these side projects where we're hopefully going to be increasing our revenues by additional 6 figures per year. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to help you guys understand, is there's something about this concept called lifestyle assets, okay? It's a modern form of income. I like modern income streams. I like streams of income that didn't exist 10, 15 years ago, because I like to determine what trends allow me to make money in ways that previously we were unable. And I find that more millionaires are being made today than ever before. There were somewhere around $268 million earners at the Funnel Hackers Live event that I was at last month, or February. That's got to say something, guys. Out of somewhere, north of 4,000 attendees, 4,500-ish, 268 made over $1 million, myself included. By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, check out the 2017 10X conference Russell Brunson presentation. That presentation actually went into the history books. He pulled $3 million in sales in that 90-minute presentation live. Now, I caught it after the fact on YouTube. It made an impression on me. I went ahead and bought ClickFunnels at that point. I had no idea what I would use it for. And 6 months later, we finally found a way to put it to work. And by October, we'd surpassed $1 million with that platform. So phenomenal technology, lots and lots of ways to monetize that. All right, so here we are. We're sitting in this lifestyle asset. We're working on it here. We haven't even finished it. You can see this wall I knocked out myself. I wanted to keep the concept more open, so we replaced all these appliances. It's required help as well. So I got as far along on this as I could, a lot like finances, I think. You do what you can, and then you just bring in help, guys. Don't be afraid to ask for help. So we've got Scott Reese is a local handyman, tremendous guy. We really love him already. And then we're bringing in a guy, Jim Butler, who's a local fabricator, tremendous artist, to do a custom steel counter here, along with a custom metal steel mural down below. So that should be amazing. And that'll all be done in the next couple weeks, but we didn't want to wait to get it on the market. So we went ahead and listed it. And within 3 days, we've generated $1,500 on the property. Not bad. Is it as good as we thought? No. Seldom does real estate, or any business for that matter, go as well as you hope it will. Even if you're being conservative, things usually take longer and cost more than you think they're going to. So by rule of thumb, expect that to happen. Now, I love the concept of lifestyle assets. If I can make, say, $7,500 a month on this property by renting it out half time, earning an average of, say, $500 per month, then that $7,500 less the $3,500 to pay the principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and all the utility costs, Wi-Fi costs, and so forth to keep the property active and live, I'm looking at somewhere around a net of $4,000 a month, and I get to use it half the time. That to me is pretty spectacular. I like those numbers. It still even gives a lot of wiggle room so that if prices do come down, if any fluctuations beyond my control take place, if supply demand starts to waver, obviously I'm still super safe with respect to cash flow, but we do know that as a long-term rental, this property would still cash flow roughly $500 a month. I would simply stop paying for the utilities and the internet connection. My principal, interest, taxes, and insurance would come in at right about $2,950 per month, and we would rent it for $3,500. So we know that there's a cash flow there, and I strongly encourage those of you that your interest is piqued based on some of the videos that we've been sharing regarding how strongly these numbers look. Number one, I want to give you a walkthrough of the short-term rental, the new house that we just bought. This place is sick. I want to show you guys how we're going to pull out of this thing a minimum of $5,500 per month, and that number is actually closer to $8,000, and over the next coming years should be even above $50,000 per month, not per year, $50,000 per month. Okay, so hopefully that has your attention. That in a worst case scenario, you're still safe. You have to have properties that still cash flow. And this was based on a 20% down payment, by the way. So a lot of money into the deal, but that's typical for a non-owner occupied property. Now, with that in mind, I've got another one that we've got our eyes on. And this is a condo. It's about 30 minutes south of here in a really, really popular booming town called Salida, Colorado. Salida is also another one of those outdoor activists type of towns in Colorado. Most are, of course, but it really just varies between winter and summer activities. This is a outdoor activity enthusiast's dream from a warm weather standpoint. It's got the river, it's got mountain biking, it's got the collegiate peaks. It is as appealing, if not more, than this property here in BV, but the property is a condominium. So we've got to factor in HOAs, and we also obviously want to make sure we're factoring in town ordinances, because to my knowledge, Salida has a capacity to their short-term rentals where they're only allowing 3% licenses, basically on a lottery basis. That is interesting, because if I can find properties that fall within the zoning that allows for short-term rental, it means that supply and demand is somewhat regulated. It means that there will always be, to some extent, a shortage of supply, and therefore demand should still be pretty good. And we're doing our research, we're bringing in other sets of eyes, we're checking the analytics and the data on that, but I am now going through the process of pursuing this. And what it's going to require is that I'm going to exchange through my very first 1031 exchange, which basically allows me to defer the taxes on capital gains into another property. If I sell a subject property and I exchange those proceeds into a new property of equal or greater value, a similar property of equal or greater value, and I do so within the 1031 timeline, I don't have to pay taxes on the property. Well, I happen to have a property in Morrison, Colorado, over by Red Rocks, Colorado, the amphitheater, that I can sell for somewhere in the neighborhood of mid 400s. That is the expected value. Now, I decided I would beta test Zillow Offers. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, Zillow Offers is actually a new feature that Zillow has introduced to a limited number of states where they are purchasing with cash properties from sellers. They're making offers in cash to people who are interested in selling their homes. Well, that happens to be me. I am somebody that doesn't want to go in and put a tremendous amount of upkeep and fix up into the property that's been a rental now for some time. I would rather just hand the property over, let them do all the upkeep, all the updates to the property, close quickly, take those funds and put it into a property that will cash flow equally well or better, but will also give us the opportunity to exchange where we stay. Now, I'm going to be staying here in this particular lifestyle asset the majority of the time. Now and then, this property will be rented out, at which point, if it's rented up to half of the time, I can stay in the other property the other half of the time. Now, I've got to follow the rules, right? Making sure we're following all regulations, requirements, laws, ordinances is super, super important when you're getting involved with new revenue streams. So make sure you're doing all of your homework. It seems to vary drastically geographically. So I'm gonna go check out that property now. Everything is in motion at the moment. I did reach out to Zillow Offers, and so far I've been impressed, with the exception of being told at one point I would be called back, and I wasn't called back until the next day. I can let that slide. Everything else has gone smoothly. In fact, they came back with a verbal offer on my property of $440,000. The net on that after costs verbal offer is somewhere around $413,000 in my pocket. That includes the updates to the property. That is a lot better than I was expecting I was gonna get on this thing. So we've set up an inspection for next Monday. It's gonna be a full 2-hour in-person walkthrough inspection. It's basically like actually hiring somebody to inspect a property prior to closing. It's thorough. They're going to then, within 2 business days, 48 hours of that inspection, come back with an offer on the property. This will be a formal written offer. I then have the choice whether or not I would accept that offer, of course. And if I do, they, without an HOA, have the capability of closing with cash in as quickly as 5 business days from that day. Wow. So we know that by next Wednesday, I'll have the offer in hand. If I accept it, they can close by the following Wednesday. If there's an HOA, it can take up to 10 business days for that closing to happen. I've had conversations already with the 1031 exchange company. She's already done a handful of these Zillow offers, and she said they've all gone smoothly. That's encouraging. So we'll see. I'm gonna beta test it out for you guys. I'll give you a more thorough report as things unfold, but so far, everything is looking really good on that. Furthermore, if you're looking at getting a property that you would at some point want to consider renting out on a short-term basis, it's something that you're gonna have to concern yourself with from a liability standpoint. And so you're gonna wanna make sure that you're protected with insurance. Not every insurance provider is up to date up to speed on some of these modern income streams. Legal marijuana is another one, right? If you want to have houses as grow houses, you're going to need to make sure you look into the insurance coverage and make sure you are protected. I found an insurance company that offers insurance to short-term rentals. This is not a sponsored video. Proper Insurance is somebody that I've just now started working with and have been very satisfied with. Their rates have been competitive, but they specialize in that short-term rental market. So they handle these quick turnovers with guests, handle a lot of different guests in the properties, etc. They're also very thorough about helping make sure that you are seeing YA, right? They want to make sure that you are covering your booty, guys. And so they're insisting I put signs around the hot tub, insisting I put signs around the creek, insisting I make sure that fire extinguishers were up, which you can see we already have. I have already been extremely detail oriented on this property, but it's nice to have a second set of eyes because some of you guys maybe wouldn't have thought about some of the extra details that I've seen in some of the videos that have encouraged it early. So I've already been ahead of the game. Everything on the checklist was bing, bang, boom, already done. But I need the reminders on things that I perhaps wouldn't have thought about. So look into Proper Insurance. Proper Insurance if you are looking to get short-term rental coverage. Finally, Evolve. Evolve looks like they could be a potential management source for us. They only charge 13%. They optimize your listing. They handle your bookings, your quick response times. Now, I am not using Evolve yet. Will I? Perhaps. They do require individual Evolve certified or approved photography for all the photographs in your listing. And that sort of scares me. I like it because they pay for it, which is great, but it also means that if you fire them, they take it with them. It's their way of sort of locking in the partnership, in my opinion. Furthermore, I'm not completely clear yet whether or not they take reviews with them as well. So make sure you look into that too, and you don't just jump to a 13% management price, because here in this area, management costs between 20 and up to 30% for these smaller towns. The town I'm getting ready to buy in, it's a 30% management cost. Guys, I'm gonna do this myself initially. I wanna learn the ropes. I wanna be able to develop a professional process or a system that I can internalize, and I'll just hire somebody to come in and work for us on a full-time basis once it gets to the point where we have multiple properties and we can pay them well and still come in under that 20% mark. Evolve, there seems to be risks that come along with it that I would definitely make sure you're double checking about before you dive in, but it could be a good middle of the road between you doing everything yourself or you paying somebody else 20 to 30% to do that stuff for you. You might be able to just kind of delegate half of the work to them, the stuff that is a little bit more urgent, right? Correspondence and responding to potential guests needs to happen very, very quickly. And so if you're not wanting to worry about that, it's probably best to hand that off. So guys, hopefully these types of resources are helpful for you. I like to just kind of update you as I go so that we don't forget to talk about it. It gives you sort of a sense of how things go mid-project. There always seems to be things to do, right? I mean, this was a completely voluntary, optional project. I just wanted to open the space up. Demo day. I think it's just going to make it a much more comfortable space for us to use. And if it's better for us using it, then I'm certain that our guests will enjoy it a lot more as well. So hopefully you guys will find value in these little updates. I appreciate you hanging in there. I'm going to go check out this other lifestyle asset. We plan on using that property as well from time to time. And I'm just going to keep stockpiling these guys up, showing you guys how we do it and get some of you to do it yourselves as well, because it's an amazing way of making a ton of money. Make sure you get your free coaching session, folks. That is freecoachingcalendar.com. We're here to help you. We're here to help double check what you're thinking about. You gotta be thinking about something, and there's no reason to go out there and take the risk of screwing something up yourself, costing yourself not just a lot of money, but a lot of time. So get that session. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Until then, make it a great day and take care.